What is your plan for the day the person you love is no longer there to answer you? What will you do on a Tuesday afternoon when the house is silent and you realize that you are completely alone? Most of us spend our lives relying on a spouse to hold the world together, but we never prepare for the reality of being the last one standing. At 75 years old, I had to face that cold truth. I realized that without a plan, you do not just live, you drift. Today, I am going to be blunt. There are 15 critical mistakes that can destroy your health and your dignity when you are living alone. You need to know them now, before a small slip becomes a life-changing disaster. Please stay with me until the end, because your survival in this next chapter depends on the choices you make today. The first mistake is treating your meals as a chore instead of a ritual. When you are alone, it is very easy to stand at the kitchen counter and eat a cold sandwich over the sink. You might think, why bother setting the table for just me? But here is the truth: when you stop setting a place for yourself, you are telling your soul that you are no longer important. Every time you use a real plate and sit down properly, you are practicing an act of self-respect. Do not just feed your body, honor your existence. The second mistake is letting your days lose their shape. Without a spouse to talk to or a job to attend, Monday can easily feel like Thursday, and eventually, the hours simply disappear into a gray fog. You must create anchors in your day. Wake up at the same time. Open the curtains to let the light in. Make a plan, even if it is only walking to the mailbox at 10 o'clock. A ship without a rudder does not sail. It only drifts until it hits the rocks. Number 3 is neglecting your home because you think no one is coming to visit. We let the mail pile up on the table and the dust settle in the corners. You tell yourself it does not matter, but your home is a mirror of your mind. A cluttered house leads to a heavy spirit. You do not clean for a guest, you clean to remind yourself that you are still the master of this house. Keep your sanctuary orderly, and your mind will stay clear. The fourth mistake is the dangerous habit of silent emotions. Many of us were taught that being strong means staying silent. We carry our grief and our fears like heavy stones in our pockets, hidden from the world. But a heart that never speaks eventually hardens. Do not bottle up your storms. Find a friend, a counselor, or even a journal to share your thoughts. To speak your truth is not a sign of weakness. It is the only way to keep your heart from breaking under the pressure. Mistake number 5 is allowing the silence in your house to become permanent. It is possible to go 4 or 5 days without speaking a single word aloud. Your voice is a muscle. If you do not use it, you begin to feel disconnected from the human race. Make an effort to speak. Call a neighbor. Talk to the clerk at the grocery store. Even read a book out loud to the empty rooms. You must keep the habit of being part of the conversation, or the silence will slowly swallow you whole. Mistake number 6 is believing you are still the same person you were 20 years ago. We often tell ourselves that we can still climb that tall ladder to clean the gutters or walk through a dark hallway at night without a flashlight. But when you live alone, a single fall is not just a bruise, it is a life-changing event. Do not let your pride convince you that safety features are for the old and weak. Using a nightlight or a grab bar is not a sign of surrender, It is a tactical decision to stay in the fight for your independence. The seventh mistake is ignoring the small aches and pains because you do not want to be a burden to your children or your friends. We wait and wait, hoping the problem will go away on its own. But when there is no one else to notice your pale skin or your slowed pace, you must be your own doctor. Do not wait for a crisis to make an appointment. Your health is the fuel for your freedom. If you neglect the engine, the car will eventually stop in the middle of the road. Number 8 is allowing your home to fall into disrepair because the task feels too heavy. Maybe it is a loose rug that could trip you, or a porch step that is rotting away. You look at it every day and tell yourself you will fix it tomorrow. But a home that is falling apart creates a mind that is constantly anxious. Remove the hazards. Throw away the beautiful but dangerous rugs. Fix the broken light. Your home should be your fortress, not a place where you have to watch every step in fear. The ninth mistake is failing to prepare for the unexpected storm. Whether it is a power outage or a sudden illness, being alone means you can afford to be unprepared. Do you have a flashlight with working batteries? Do you have a list of emergency numbers written on paper? And not just locked inside a phone you might drop. Preparation is the highest form of self-care. It ensures that when the world goes dark or the winds blow hard, you are not a victim, but a survivor who is ready for anything. Mistake number 10 is remaining ignorant of your own finances. Often, one partner handles the money for decades, leaving the other lost when the bills arrive. Do not allow yourself to live in a financial fog. You must know what you own, what you owe, and how to manage your own resources. Clarity brings peace. When you understand your finances, you remove the shadow of uncertainty that keeps many of us awake at night. Independence requires a clear head and a firm grasp on the ledger. Mistake number 11 is confusing stubbornness with independence. We often think that asking for help with the lawn or a heavy box is a confession of weakness. But true strength is knowing your limits. A tree that does not bend in the storm will eventually snap. Accepting a hand from a neighbor or a child is not a surrender of your freedom. It is an act of grace that allows others to show their love for you. Do not let a brittle pride isolate you from the community that wants to keep you standing. The 12th mistake is keeping your home exactly as it was the day your partner left. We leave their clothes in the closet and their coffee mug on the counter, hoping to freeze time. But a home filled only with shadows leaves no room for the living. You can honor the past without being buried by it. It is okay to give those clothes to someone who needs them. It is okay to move the furniture. You are the steward of your memories, not a prisoner of the things they left behind. Make room to breathe again. Number 13 is refusing to learn the new ways of the world. It is easy to say, I am too old for these devices. But when you reject technology, you are building a wall between yourself and the people you love. That small screen is not just a gadget. It is a window to see your grandchildren's faces and a bridge to reach the world when you cannot leave the house. Do not choose to live in a digital desert. Stay curious. Learning a new tool is not a burden. It is the modern way we keep the lights on in our social lives. The 14th mistake is deciding that you have seen and learned enough. The moment you stop being a student of life, your world begins to shrink. You do not need a grand mission to have a purpose. You only need a reason to wake up. Start a small garden, learn a new recipe, or study the birds that visit your porch. Curiosity is the oxygen of the spirit. As long as you are asking why and how, you are not just passing time, you are truly living. The final mistake is believing that your story does not matter anymore. You have 75 years of storms and sunsets inside you. If you do not share those lessons, they will disappear when you do. Write them down, record your voice, or tell them to a young person who is lost. Your life is a map for those who are just beginning their journey. Do not leave your wisdom in a silent jar. Share it. Your legacy is not the money you leave behind, but the light you leave in the hearts of others. It is one thing to list these mistakes on a porch, but it is another thing entirely to see them play out in the life of a friend. Let me tell you about my neighbor Arthur. Arthur is 80 years old. When his wife passed away last year, the light seemed to go out in his eyes. For months, I watched his garden fill with weeds and his mailbox tilt slowly toward the earth, rusting into a sad, gray silence. It looked as if Arthur was letting himself fade away along with his house. But one Monday morning, I found him out by the road with a brush in his hand. He was painting that old mailbox a bright, defiant white. I walked over and asked him why he chose such a small thing to fix after so much time. He looked at me with a spark I had not seen in a long time and said, "I am not just painting a box, my friend. I am telling the world that a man still lives here, and he is ready for whatever news the day brings." That was the moment I realized that avoiding these mistakes is not about chores. It is about keeping your soul tethered to the world. Like Arthur, we must decide every day that we are still here, and we are still worth the effort. We have sat here on this porch long enough for the shadows to stretch across the wood. Living alone is a mountain that we must climb every single day, and some days the air feels very thin. But remember, you are not just surviving this season, you are mastering it. Every small choice you make to set the table, to fix the gate, or to learn a new skill is a victory for your spirit. I want to hear from you today. What is your white mailbox? What is the one small thing you are doing to tell the world that you are still here and still strong? Please share your story in the comments below. Let us build a community where no one has to walk this path in total silence. Do not let the light in your window go out. You are a treasure, and your journey is far from over. I will be right here on the porch, waiting for our next conversation. Until then, take care of yourself, because you are worth the effort. Goodbye for now.